All right, guys. Joining us back here on Submission Radio is arguably the pride of Australia right now. He is the undisputed UFC Middleweight champion, and the fight that everybody has been eagerly anticipating. Confirmation. It's finally confirmed. He's fighting Yoel Romero at UFC 225 in a highly anticipated rematch. Robert Whittaker, welcome back to Submission Radio. How are you, man?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, dude, it's a pleasure, and thanks for coming on. And we know we weren't around for this, so we want to congratulate you. It's a bit delayed, but at the end of February, you got some gaming gold. You shared the video on Instagram. People said you couldn't do it, but you did. Tell us about this massive accomplishment.
Oh, mate, you know, a lot of people, I have a lot of haters. A lot of people didn't think I was good enough. A lot of people didn't think I could do it. But, you know, just straight determination and willpower. I plowed through the crappier divisions and, you know, I attained that gold ranking.
What was this, by the way? Just for those who didn't see the Instagram video, what game were you playing, and you know, what was the big achievement?
It was League of Legends. You know, it's a game me and a few of my mates play quite a lot. Obviously not enough to be any good at it, but enough to get to gold at least.
Would you like to thank the chickenpox and the staph infection for helping you have nothing to do so you could focus on the game a little bit longer and really get that skill level up to get to the gold level?
Nah, me and chickenpox aren't cool, dude. We are not cool.
You got some bad memories from the chickenpox. I love the way you did that video though, where you were like, "Oh, a lot of people didn't think I could make it," and then you revealed that you're talking about the game. Any other exciting games that you're excited to sort of play? Because people obviously know you're a huge gamer. Yeah,
so I'm still playing a ton of League of Legends, but I've got that on a bit of a back burner at the moment because all my friends have moved to Fortnite. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
But it's like a shooter, build 'em up, Hunger Games style type game, and I've been playing that just because my friends are on it. I don't think I'll be on it for too much longer. Shooters and me don't get along too well. I'm not very good, so yeah, I don't see my longevity being as long as League of Legends in that regard.
I thought you didn't get along with them as in there was a lot of trash talk when you go on there. There's a lot of destruction and then you have to go on there and start flashing the Robert Whittaker card. But who are these friends who you game with? Are these guys from the gym or are these guys from school, old school friends? Who is this? What is the secret gaming fraternity that we may never be a part of?
They're just lads that like yeah. Some of them are long-term friends. Some of them are friends of friends that through playing online we've become closer, and there's just a group of us that just like maybe 4-6 of us that just get together when we can and slap on the games.
I know.
What do you have to do to be? Sorry to jump in, Casper, but I'm just wondering for all those people out there. I know there's a lot of keen gamers out there. A dream come true would probably be to play with Robert Whittaker, possibly kill him in the game. What do you have to do to make the ranks of the group? Is there a hazing process? Is there an application form online? Is there some kind of induction that happens annually? How can someone get in?
I'll reveal my user tag now. It's Menai Bob. So if anyone absolutely stomps me in game, I'm more than likely to add you and try to curry up to you so that you can carry me in the next game. That's generally my approach to games. So yeah, it is what it is.
Wow, that's actually really nice because a lot of UFC fighters kind of, other than ones maybe on Twitch, they sort of keep their gamer tags a secret. Just quickly, because I didn't hear that probably. What was your actual gamer tag for those wondering?
I'm writing it down right now.
For the game I'm playing right now, Fortnite, it's Menai Bob, MENAI BOB.
B.O.B. Well, there you go. Well, if you want to play with Robert Whittaker, now you can. I mean, that's like a dream come true right there. And just curious, because people know you as like a really, really nice guy, never trash talk your opponent, never talk anyone down, but do you get into it when you're gaming? Is there any moments? Because I imagine people trash talk you not knowing that, you're the UFC champion. Do you ever get into it? Do you ever, call people stuff?
Oh, mate, I go absolute 100% filthy.
Really? What do you say? What's an example of Robert Whittaker trash talk?
I don't know. It's all situational, and it's all dependent on my mood. Like, League's the best for it because you can start trolling people. you start doing dumb stuff, and I love it in that regard. Like, I don't get too verbally, too mouthy because I don't want to get banned. Like, yeah. And then like all I need is for someone to actually realize it's me, caption what I'm saying, and then put it on socials.
Yes.
So I keep it clean in that regard. But Like I am no stranger to trolling people. Trust me.
So how do you
awesome.
troll them? What do you do?
I just like I'll run like a live commentator feed on how they're playing, and I'll specifically watch them. So whenever they do something stupid, I'm applauding them, and I'm making it public.
Wow, you're on another level, Robert Whittaker, and it just reminds me of a story of Mark Hunt, who once had a beef with someone online and then ended up getting their address rocking up to their door, and it was like a kid. He was like, "Oh, I'm going home." I think he was on his way to destroy some poor person's face in, and then he's up. It's a kid. All right, I'm going home. So it's good to see that you're avoiding those situations. Now let's talk about these last few crazy months. First off, talk to us a little bit about UFC Perth. I know, unfortunately, you couldn't be on the card. How difficult was it for you to sort of watch it go down without you on it?
I think watching it go down wasn't too much of a problem, because by that stage I had accepted the fact that I wasn't on it. It was the weeks leading up to my decision and the weeks after my decision that were the hardest for me, because leading up to it I was like, can I train? Can I fight? Can't I fight? I'm sick. Will I get better? And then the decision was made, and then it was like there was a feeling of, man, I should have fought. Like, could I have fought? Like, I let everyone down. A lot of people bought tickets to get in, but I have never been as sick as I was during that little period. So I know I made the smart decision not to get in there for my own health and welfare. Obviously, the fights were great. Rockhold and all the cards, all the fighters, and all the fights were great. It was a very lively night. But my personal interest in Rockhold and Romero was great. The number one and number two contender just slugged it out on each other. And Rockhold got stoned.
Yeah, well, what was your reaction when the final knockout blow came, especially that follow-up blow, which is just extra brutal?
Yeah, well, it was like I stood up and I was like, wow. I could see that always happening, especially once, like, I knew it was a possibility, but then once the fight started, I knew it was going to happen. Rockhold's a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but in my personal opinion, I don't think he was doing the right things in order to stop Romero. But then, I don't know, I'm very big on Romero not making weight. I don't think Rockhold should have taken that fight. He had nothing to gain from it once Romero didn't make weight. So, but it is what it is. He's a fighter first and foremost. He still fought. He saved the card, and props to him.
Well, here's an interesting situation. If that was you in that situation and that happened to you and Romero missed weight, do you think you would have taken that fight, or do you think you would have sort of waited for a better opportunity where, it was more professional circumstances?
No way. Like, why would I don't understand anyone who takes fights when their opponent doesn't make weight. It's like, if you rock up 87 kilos, which is what Romero did, or it was like 86 kilos or something like that, then why don't I rock up at 95? What's the difference? We're both not making weight. We're both not professional enough to do it. And the weight cut is directly influential to the fight itself. I think not making weight is the most unprofessional thing you can do. It's as bad as just not showing up for the fight itself. So if you don't make weight, I'm not fighting you. I'll give the shot to someone else who can make weight, who can do their friggin' job.
And the crazy, sorry to cut in there, Dennis. The crazy thing is, like, we all remember you speaking about your cuts to welterweight and how you were speaking about how you almost couldn't hear, and you had, your coach was sort of dragging you through the sauna. So you're a man who knows about making really, really tough weight cuts and still getting all the way there. How much of a difference do you think that would have made in your fights, or just for any fighter? Let's say, the difference between 3 pounds, or in this case 3 pounds. How much of a difference does that make on fight night?
Well, put it this way, sometimes when you're cutting weight, the difference of 500 grams more is the difference between you going to hospital or not.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So when a dude doesn't make weight by about 2 kilos, you're giving him a massive advantage, especially if you're 500 grams off going to hospital. So...
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. I know we were there on the ground, and we got told the fight didn't get locked until the early hours of the morning, and Yoel had to pay a big part of his purse. But the interesting thing was, when he went off to try and lose more weight, he sort of came back on the scale and he was a similar weight. It didn't look like he dropped any weight whatsoever. Do you sort of worry? I mean, you guys are fighting in Chicago. He did kind of take this fight a little bit late notice. I mean, he was getting ready for another fight, so it's not it's not like he just took it out of the blue and wasn't, training for a fight. But with you guys fighting in Chicago, does it make you worry at all about him having any more weight cut issues, with him sort of getting a bit older and having these issues in Perth when you guys go up in Chicago and go up against each other?
No, it doesn't bother me. Cutting weight is his problem, not mine. I know my job. I know what I've got to do. I'm going to do all the things I need to do, and I'm going to rock up on weight, as I always do. And if he does or does not is neither here nor there. I'll jump that hurdle when I get there. But I'm not losing sleep over it.
What? Just quickly on that fight, what did you think about the kiss of, I don't know, what is it, like the kiss of death or something? After the fight, he came up, he kissed Luke Rockhold. It was a weird situation because Luke was still recovering, and it's kind of like, at the moment, it kind of seemed like he was kind of trying to, I suppose, have a bridge, kind of have a positive moment. Then later on, there was some other condensation to it, some other meaning to it. What did you make of that kiss and the fact that he was able to go over there and do that to Luke after him suffering such a big blow?
Romero is a very lovely guy. He loves all his opponents. He's very huggy, very kissy.
But there's a double meaning to those hugs, Rob.
I don't know. Who can begin to think and try to understand the inner machinations to what is Romero inside his head?
It's like the bold and the beautiful for fighters.
Yeah, I don't think it's the secret knowledge that the guy's crazier than that. You know what I mean? But he's good at what he does, and he comes from a good place. He's always been a gentleman when I've been around him, and I have nothing respect for the athlete.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back around to UFC 225 in a second, Yoel, because in order to fight on that card, you had to give up your spot on the Commonwealth Games wrestling team for Australia. Something that when we first heard about, we thought, wow, this is crazy and this is exciting. We were actually speaking to Dan Kelly about it the other day, and now obviously it's no longer. How hard was that a decision for you to make? And we heard the UFC wasn't actually very keen on your participating with the big fight not long away.
Yeah, I was gutted, obviously. To be able to stuff on the green and gold is, I think, every Australian's athletic dream. So to have to pull out of that was, it was a bit disappointing. It was very definitely upsetting. But I have my priorities in check. First and foremost, it's to do my job, and my job is the middleweight champion at the moment. It's to fight in the UFC. That is where my priorities lie, and as well as on top of that, I also need to bring a wage home to my family. And I need to do my job to earn my money. One of them pays, the other one doesn't. So it wasn't even really a decision to be made. It just is what it is.
Just terrible timing. I know that it was really important for you to represent Australia. If this fight goes to plan and things work out well with scheduling, would you be sort of eyeing to possibly trying to make the Olympics and maybe represent Australia there, or are you sort of going to take a break from the whole wrestling dream and representing Australia for a while?
I'm focusing on my MMA career at the moment. I always go in competitions whenever I can, just to keep my skill set sharp and to keep my reflexes on point. But Commonwealth Games wasn't a tunnel vision I had from when I was little. It was just a result of due to me just competing and winning. If for whatever happenstance that it happens again and I'm in a position where I can represent Australia, I always jump for the opportunity. But my priorities lie with the UFC. Everything has to match up, and as you've seen, matching them up is very hard.
But on the plus side, you obviously spend a considerable amount of time training, and focusing on wrestling. Do you think that's going to be something that helps you a lot in this fight against Romero, who obviously is known, well, he's obviously a great striker, but also for his wrestling?
Yeah, definitely. So the camps that I went on and the focused wrestling that I was a part of will definitely give me an edge in this fight. My wrestling defense was pretty good anyway. So to improve it, can only make me better. I've got a bunch of new tricks for this fight. I'm really looking forward to getting in there and just putting on a better display than last fight.
So talk to us a little bit about Chicago, because obviously me and Casper, when we heard you on that card, we were super excited. Chicago is a great city, but why did you choose this card in particular? And were there any other options? Because we know there's some big cards coming up, UFC 226, for example, International Fight Week. Why did you choose that card in particular?
It was a good time for me to fight. It was just after the Commonwealth Games, assuming I could have competed in it. so I would have been fit for the games and gone straight into the prep. It's not the furthest point in the world for me to travel. It's a great card. I thought there'd be a high chance to be able to headline it. I've always wanted to headline a card overseas, and I thought it would be great for everyone.
What do you think about the fact that you're actually fighting Romero again, considering that, he was your last opponent and you've already just beaten him? Is it a bit kind of like, God, this guy again? Was there a part of you that was kind of more looking forward to fighting a fresher guy in Rockhold?
Yeah, definitely thought like, it was a hard fight the first time.
Yeah.
But, I'm excited. I think a lot of the fans are excited. It was a very close fight the first time, so... especially after what Romero did to Rockhold, there was no really other option to who to fight. He's touched everyone in the top 5, top 10, bar me. So, I'm happy to do it again, and yeah, it is what it is.
Well, the interesting thing about this fight as well is that Yoel made an appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he kind of alluded to the fact that his body is sore after a long competitive career, and if he beats you in Chicago, this could be his last fight. What do you think about Romero sort of hinting at retirement? What kind of message does that send to you?
Yeah, it just sends to me that he's quit. I don't think you can go into a fight with the thoughts of retirement beforehand. I think when the time comes for me to retire personally, and this is just a personal opinion.
Of course, yeah.
He's neither right nor wrong. But in my opinion, when as soon as I feel that I've reached the end of my road and I've had enough of fighting, that's it, I'm done. I'm calling UFC next day and tell my coaches I'm done, because you can't go into a fight knowing you're going to hang up the boots, so to speak, after it.
So for you, it would be kind of, I guess, somewhat spontaneous. You wouldn't be thinking about like, maybe I'll have two more fights, maybe this will be it. You would just kind of do it on the spot. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it'll just happen. I'll know when it's time.
Do you think that puts you in a bit of a tough position? Because that's the thing. If let's say Romero gets the upper hand on this one, and then, you'd be probably looking to get a rematch. If he is to retire, would that be a little bit unfair to you? Because you're giving him a rematch after beating him.
I don't know. I don't care. Like, I'm never really worried about it. If I lose this fight for whatever reason, I'm just going to get back and train and then beat the next guy. And then if I don't win that one, then I'll get back and I'll train and then I'll beat the next one. It's not about winning or losing fights. It's about staying in the program, staying consistent, training hard and being the best that I can be, so that when I step in the octagon, the best comes out. And I believe, and I truly believe, and I think a lot of other people believe now, that my best, no one can handle.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the amazing performances in the octagon and some of the big wins that you've gotten, there's no doubt about that. Let's talk about how this rematch is going to look like compared to the first fight. Obviously, you had some issues with your knee in that first match that, it was a huge impact on you in there. You were able to win it. I've heard Yoel speak about the fact that now he sort of felt you out in the second fight will be a bit different. You've had a chance to feel Yoel out, so you know him a lot better than you did before you went into that first fight. How do you think the second fight plays out? Will it be a different fight in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it'll be the exact same fight. But, I think it'll be the exact same fight. Yoel can't fight me any other way. The only thing that'll be different is that I'll be better. Damage, like doing my MCL 4 weeks before the fight, obviously affected my training and affected my cardio. So, I'm going to be fitter. I'm not going to have a bum knee. I'm going to have, like you said, I felt him out, so I'm going to work on certain things that I know that I'm going to stump him. I don't think he's at the level. He's at a point where he can make drastic changes. I don't think he can change anything that will really make an impact to this next fight. But that's all my speculation, so who knows?
I love how you give this incredible analysis, and then you kind of like, well, that's just what I think.
Comes with a disclaimer. There's a disclaimer at the end.
I think that was great. Go on.
Yeah, well, because I know I'm not always right, and fights don't always go according to plan.
Well, you're a realist. That's what we love. Because I'm wondering if you think you saw different, like I guess a lot of improvements when he fought Rockhold, and you say that he can't fight you any other way. Is that because because of the things that you do, because of the way you fight him? Because I think after the Rockhold fight, a lot of people said, you know, Yoel looked a lot more calm, a lot more composed, and maybe that's going to be better for his cardio if he fights you in a rematch.
I hope and I pray that he fights me like he fought Rockhold. Just like, think about it, a stationary target in front of me. Yeah, all right.
It's going to be exciting. The other exciting thing about the card is another Aussie, Tai Tuivasa, is going to be on the card as well against Andrei Arlovski. How about that matchup? That's going to be a fun fight. I know you and Ty and Tyson have a bit of a relationship. What's it feel like knowing that he's going to be on the card kind of representing Australia with you?
Oh, me and him are going to go take over Chicago, mate.
Do you think?
I was going to say, if you guys win, are we looking at shoeys and post-fight celebrations in Chicago? And what does the city know what's coming, basically, if both of you guys win any celebrations?
I don't think they're ready for Ty. I don't think any city's ready for Ty. I don't think our city's ready for Ty.
Would you do a shoey though? And have you ever done a shoey ever in your life? You can tell us.
I would have to be dead in the grave to do a shoey. That is, that's not for me.
I feel like the shoeys have become the new 2018 craze thanks to Tai Tuivasa. I don't know how parents feel about that, but anyway, it should be a great card. Rob, as we wrap up, just quickly, what is the prediction? How do you think you win this one at UFC 225?
I think I stop him in the third. Well, let's see.
There it is, the disclaimer at the end from Rob Whittaker. But I love it. The prediction is third. Anyone putting bets down, you know, I'm feeling optimistic about that. Guys, don't forget to follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Whittaker MMA, and of course at Rob Whittaker MMA on Instagram. See him defend his belt against Yoel Romero at UFC 225. It's going to be June 9th, but of course for everybody here in Australia and New Zealand, it's going to be June 10th because of the time difference. Rob, good luck. Represent us well. We know you will, as you always have, and can't wait to see you fight. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, see you on the online games, Rob. Everyone's adding you right now. Be prepared for a battle.
Thank you very much, brother. Take it easy, guys.